In this video, we're going to be learning how to play 4 woodwind instruments. The first one is the flute, then the oboe, the clarinet, and the alto saxophone. So we're going to start with the embouchure first, and I have like a little bit of an overbite, I guess. So I'm just going to kind of, for this, you're going to want to kind of line up your teeth. So I'm going to kind of put my jaw, my chin, a little bit forward so that my teeth are together and a little more lined up. And then the bottom lip, where the hole is, it's gonna be just kind of right here. So you're gonna kind of do this like pout kind of thing, and you don't have to make a sad face, but you're gonna do this pout kind of thing. So your bottom lip is gonna kind of go over the tone, just kind of right over the little hole right there. And then how you're gonna make the little sound, we're gonna make a little tiny airstream place for your airstream to come out, and it's gonna be like you're spitting out like a watermelon seed. So it's just gonna be like this little tiny, you want it to be a little bit smaller. So we're gonna just kind of do that. And your lip is gonna be kind of over it, the tone hole. And when you blow, there's gonna be some air, some like, right. And you can see there's a little triangle of air. So next up, once you make your mouthpiece sound, you're going to use this part and you're going to put it into the bigger joint of your flute, and you're just going to kind of twist it in. I never like to push the instruments together. You always twist them together. And you can see there's the brand name right here. Sometimes there's a little logo. And then you've got the majority of the keys are kind of, minus those keys, the majority of them are kind of straight down. So you want this hole to be just kind of centered. You can always check looking like that. You can always check to see if it's centered with the rest of the rest. And then we're gonna take the lower joint, or the foot joint, I don't know what it's called, and we're gonna just twist these together in the bottom. And you just want to be careful with the keys on where you place your hand. I kind of place it just a little bit up here where my hands aren't like grabbing. So we're just gonna kind of place it like there, and you're just gonna kind of twist them. And when you twist it in, you don't want to line up these two long bars that hold all the keys together. They're gonna be a little off, so this line is gonna be kind of with these, and then this bar is gonna be in line with the center of these keys. So we're gonna start off with how to hold the flute. So your right hand thumb is just going to be resting underneath the flute, and the flute's going to be to the right, everything facing that way, just in case you're not holding it like backwards. And the left thumb is going to be just back here for these keys. The left hand, the first finger is going to be on this second key right here. We're going to skip a key, we're going to go to the second key right there. And then we're gonna have the third finger for that key, and this is for like the pinky. And then for the right hand, while you have it resting back here, you're going to have the first finger here, and then the second finger here, third finger, and then the pinky keys for that. So I'm going to make a full compilation of the different instruments together, playing a song in the end. So I'm gonna teach you the notes that are in this song, and we're just gonna kind of go through them kind of quickly just to see some different fingerings for different notes and pitches. For the first note we're gonna learn is a B flat. You're gonna have your thumb on the bottom thumb key back there. You're gonna have your pointer finger on the first key right here for the first note. You're gonna have your thumb resting back here. And then you're gonna have your first finger on your right hand right there, and then your pinky key, which is that first pinky key right there. And this is a B flat in the middle of the staff. Should sound like. So we have that. The next note we're gonna learn is a C. So we're gonna take off this pointer finger and your thumb key. So you should only have your pointer finger and your left hand down, and the key, the pinky button down there. And it should sound like. It's kind of hard because you don't really have your thumb under here, so it kind of is a little bit hard to kind of balance that. The next note we're going to learn is a D. You're going to put your thumb back On that key, we're gonna take off our pointer finger this time. We're gonna have our second and third finger down, and then we're gonna have our first, second, and third on our right hand down, no pinky keys. So we're gonna hold it just like that with the thumb. Should sound like. Sound like that. Next note we're gonna learn is an E flat. Now for E flat, you're gonna have your pinky, or keep calling it a pinky key, it's a thumb key. You're gonna have your thumb down for E flat. You're gonna have your second and third. Then you're gonna have your first, second, third, and pinky down for E flat. So that first pinky should sound like. So for the last note we're gonna learn is an F. So for this one, you're gonna have your thumb down. You're gonna have 1, 2, 3, and then you're gonna have one and the pinky key down, just down there. So these don't have anything going up. So it should sound like. Next up, we'll be playing oboe. So you're gonna have this, just like a little old pill case, jar thingy, whatever they're called. And I just have this. I have like a little bit of water in here so that I can just soak the reed. We're gonna take this oboe reed, and you're just gonna set your reed right in there. So it's just soaking, and the water isn't like super high where it's gonna cover the cork or much of the little wire that's in there. So it's just gonna be soaking. So we're gonna start off with the bell of the oboe and the bottom joint of the oboe. And it's like a little key that kind of moves up and down. It's kind of like a little bridge key is kind of what I guess I could call it. And you just pressed on the button right there, the key right there, and it's just gonna open, kind of open it up and move it away from the instrument. And then we're just gonna, I'm gonna just hold it kind of up here. So I'm just gonna kind of hold it up here with kind of my hand around some of the keys, just so I'm not like pressing everything down or anything. So I'm just gonna kind of hold it just lightly right there. And I'm just gonna twist, just kind of move it together, kind of twist it on there. And then the little key that I was opening up should align with that key that came down right there. So there's like a little bridge key kind of that opens up right there. And then the next joint you're gonna take is the top part of the oboe with the little keys that kind of jet out down there, and these come up. So this one also kind of has like a little bridge key over here on the side, back on the, kind of on the backish side. And that key, you don't really have to open that key up, but I'm just gonna gently hold the oboe, just kind of hands gently around it, not like pressing down hard on these side keys that come out or anything, just kind of gently around it. And I'm just gonna hold it kind of, you know, down here with my hand, just a little bit over the lower joint, so I'm not holding just the bell, because sometimes it could twist this. If you have kind of a thicker cork or something, it could twist the whole middle joint or lower joint. So I'm just gonna kind of hold both of those parts together, and we're just gonna gently twist so that none of these little pinky side keys are gonna like click with each other. So you're just gonna gently twist it together until you get those bridge keys aligned. It's gonna hurt. So you're just gonna have these little bridge keys right there, just kind of aligned a little bit. So that's gonna be together. So all the keys should be just be straight down, just like that. So after your reed's been soaking for a couple minutes, we're gonna just take it out of the water. And with the keys facing out, the back facing towards you, we're just gonna put that reed, you can't even see that, you're gonna put that reed right into the top of the oboe, in that hole, and you're gonna put it until it hits a little area in there inside where it just can't move anymore. Your thumb would initially, it would use this back key. It can just kind of rest, just kind of resting back there. And then the pointer finger would be around over this key, the first key, and the middle finger would be over the second key, third finger over the third key. And then for your right hand, you're gonna have your thumb underneath the thumb rest, the pointer finger over the first key right there, second over the second key right there, third over that third, and this is for all the pinky keys. So we're just gonna make a sound first, so you don't have to have any of the fingers holding down any of the keys, but just kind of hover over those keys. And then for the sound, it's just gonna be kind of, it's a little more out from your body, so you kind of have an angle. You're not like this or anything. It's gonna be just a little bit out from your body. And the oboe reed, you don't really have to make like a tight, like any lips covering over your teeth. A little more towards the middle to the tip of the reed is where you want to have that. It's just gonna go in your mouth like. It's kind of a hard instrument to blow in because it takes a lot of air, so you need a lot of air support. Just like a flute, you need a lot of air support for that. So the first note we have to learn on oboe is the B flat. And for B flat, you're just gonna have nothing on your thumb, you're just gonna hover back there. You're gonna have your pointer on the first key, the second key, and then the first one down here with your right hand. So nothing for your ring finger on your left hand, and nothing for these fingers. So you're gonna hold that, and then this sound. The next note we're gonna learn is a C. And for C, you're just gonna have your pointer finger down and your first finger down on your right hand. So both pointer fingers and left and right hand are down. And thumb is just hovering, bottom thumb on your right hand is holding the instrument up. It's gonna sound like. And then the next note we're gonna learn is a D. Now this one we're gonna half hold it, so there's a little key right here that's attached with this key. You're gonna place your finger over the little half hole so it's down here off of the whole key, hold key, and it's gonna be down there. And then we're gonna have our second finger, our third finger, and then our first, second, third on your right hand. So you're gonna have those down. Make sure you're not covering that hole, make sure it's slid off onto the half hole. So for D, it should sound like. So there's D. The next note we're gonna learn is E flat. So you're gonna have that half hole again. You have your 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And then we're gonna have the bottom pinky right here, that bottom one. So it's a little bit of a stretch, but it's gonna be that bottom. And it should sound like. That's an E flat. Next up is F. We're gonna have, for F, we're gonna have the thumb register key. The back here, we're gonna have that thumb key down. We're gonna have the pointer finger down, second, third, 1, and then for F, we're gonna have 1 or 3 in the bottom key. So the middle finger is just kind of out there. It's just kind of hovering a little bit. So it should sound like. You're gonna have your reed for your clarinet, and you can either put this in a little jar of water or you can soak it, and you can also soak it or do that while you're putting your instrument together. So I'll just have this sit aside and be soaking until I get my whole clarinet together, and then I can put this on. I'm gonna start off with your mouthpiece, and then there's the barrel. And on the mouthpiece you have this ligature, that's what that metal thing is called. That's gonna hold the reed on there. So we're just gonna take that and set that aside for now. You're gonna take the part with the cork and the barrel, which there's a little bit smaller side, if you can kind of see that. It's a little smaller and it kind of gets a little bit bigger sometimes on the barrel, so the smaller end. And there's also sometimes, I don't know if you can see that, there's like the little, the buffet sign right there. So if it's readable and actually right, then you've got it right. If it's upside down, you can't read it upside down, you've got that wrong. So we're gonna you're gonna take the mouthpiece and the barrel and you're just gonna twist it. Just kind of twist it in like that. You're not gonna just push it right in, you're just gonna twist it. And then you're gonna take your reed that you've had set aside. I like to put the ligature back on first. The screw is gonna go to the right. And then you're just gonna take your reed that you've soaked and you're gonna kind of push up a little bit with the ligature, not all the way off, just a little bit, so there's some space between the ligature and the mouthpiece, and you're just gonna slide your reed right into that mouthpiece. And then we're going to align the reed, bring the ligature down a little bit. So you can kind of see if we can actually see this. There's a little bit of a line on my mouthpiece, and the ligature is gonna kind of line up right with that line. And you can also tell some reeds too, how they have cut. They have this line on the reeds. So you're just gonna kind of align the top of your ligature, with the reed. And then you're just gonna tighten it, but don't tighten it like super hard. because you could strip the screw, but you're just gonna kind of tighten it until it won't tighten and just kind of loosen it just a little tiny bit. And you wanna have it so that the mouthpiece, you can see just a little sliver of the black mouthpiece behind the reed. So that's how you're gonna do that. Then you can take this and set aside. So next up, we're gonna start with the bell of the clarinet, and you're gonna take this lower joint that we're gonna put in there. Looks like this, has the 4 bottom keys, the 3 side keys. We're gonna take this, and the side with the cork goes down, and we're gonna put it into the bell. Twist it with some twisting motions. And we're gonna take the upper joint with the lower joint, and there's this, I forget my things over here. There's this key right here, looks kind of like a little dome or something. We're gonna take that, you're just gonna press that down. I like to hold it like this with my fingers, right kind of on the little side keys right there. We're just gonna kind of hold it over those, and you're gonna use your thumb and just place it gently over that key, that little dome key. So it's gonna open up this bridge key right there. You can kind of see that. So we're gonna just open up the bridge key, and then there's a spot right here on the lower joint that you can kind of see right here. There's like the little spot. So that's where the bridge key is gonna line up. And this one, you also wanna kind of twist it. You don't want to fully twist it, because the bridge key and all these keys are gonna hit these keys if you twist it too far that way. So you're just gonna gently twist it in so that you get that bridge key. The tone holes are kind of matched up. I'm gonna take the mouthpiece and barrel that you set aside earlier, and we're going to put it on top of the clarinet. My camera's not exactly that big, I can't get my whole clarinet. So we're gonna do the same thing with all the other joints. So we're gonna kind of twist it in there. So you're gonna twist it till it kind of gets stuck. So it goes all the way down. You're gonna have it just like that. The reed is gonna be aligned with the register key. First note that we need to learn for this song is the G, which G is that open note that I had you play in the beginning of how to get a sound. It has no fingers down. You're just holding it with the back, and then you're just gonna have your hands just closely, but you know, just kind of covering. You can see there's some space a little bit between the notes. So that G sounds like. And then the next note we have is an F. So the F, you're gonna just take your thumb, and it's just gonna cover this first thumb hole right there. So you have your thumb over the thumb, your hand is underneath the hand rest, your thumb down there, and then it's gonna have just thumb on the back. So it sounds like. So that's not. The next note is an E, so you're gonna have your thumb on the back, and then you're gonna have the first pointer finger on the first key with your left hand. So thumb, first key, sounds like. And that's an E. And then we're gonna have a D, which is thumb, 1 and 2, and nothing else down here. You're just holding. And that sounds like. The next note is a C. We're just gonna add one more finger. So it's a thumb, 1, 2, and 3 right there, just like that. And that sounds like. And then the last note we're gonna learn is a B natural. And with B natural, it's actually gonna be adding the middle finger right there on the bottom. So it's gonna have thumb, 1, 2, 3, and middle finger B natural. And that sounds like. Last instrument I will be teaching is the saxophone. Now, just like the clarinet, there's a reed for this one too, and you can either soak it in your mouth or you can set it aside. I'm just gonna set it aside in a thing of water. So then you're gonna take your mouthpiece, and we're gonna take this and the part with the cork, the small part of the cork. You're gonna take your mouthpiece, you can take the ligature off of it. You're gonna take your mouthpiece and you're gonna put it right into there. And you're just gonna twist it back and forth on the cork. You don't have to push it all the way onto the cork, but I mean halfway or 2/3 of the cork is good. And then you're gonna have it like that. So that's the mouthpiece part. And then we're gonna take the ligature. When your reed is done soaking, just like the clarinet, your ligature screws are gonna go to your right. Take the reed, and you're gonna do the same thing with the clarinet. You're gonna kind of slide up the ligature a bit. You're gonna put that reed on, and you're just gonna have it where there's a little bit of black sliver behind the reed. You're just gonna slide it down to where there's kind of that line again on the mouthpiece or kind of on the reed. Tighten up the screws. Go ahead and do a mouthpiece sound with this one. Like the clarinet, we kind of have a little bit over our teeth, but we don't have to have super flat chin. It's just a little more relaxed, but we're gonna have kind of the teeth, and it's still gonna be kind of pushing up a little bit on the mouthpiece is gonna be pushing up a little bit on the teeth. We're not gonna have it pushing down onto the bottom jaw or the bottom lip, because then that could really press the reed into the mouthpiece and it's not gonna vibrate for sound. So we're just gonna take this, just a little bit over the teeth, and we're just gonna put it in. Now the next part, I'm just gonna set this aside for now. I'm gonna set that back in its case. I'm gonna take the main body of the saxophone, and there's also a neck strap. I hook that neck strap into the little hole that's in the back of the saxophone. There's a little loop thingy out there. And we're just gonna tighten it. The mouthpiece and the saxophone, and you're just gonna unscrew this part a little bit, just so that you can get this in. And again, we're just going to wiggle this back and forth onto the saxophone so that the little line is kind of lined up with this, and it's just gonna go underneath that. So there's that. The first note we're gonna have to learn is a G for the song. And on saxophone, there's these pearled keys. We're gonna have 3, 1, 2, 3 down. So the first finger is gonna be on this key right here. There's one more key, but that's kind of like a little extra side key kind of thing. So we're gonna have the first finger there, the second finger on that key, and the third finger on that key. There's like a little extra key right there and those, but that's where the first, second, third go down. And you're not gonna have your thumb anywhere on the back. You can just have it resting on this black dot or whatever you have in your saxophone. There's just a black dot there. It doesn't press anything down. It's just kind of there to hold it stable. So for these 3 notes, that's a G. Should sound like. So there's G. The next note is an A, which is gonna just be first finger and second finger. And that's gonna sound like. And then the next note we're gonna learn is a B, natural, and that's just first finger down. This is gonna be pointer finger down. That's gonna sound like. And then the next note we're gonna learn is a D, so we're gonna skip C actually. We're just gonna go straight to D, and this is gonna be your full hand. So your thumb is gonna be back here kind of resting, but it's also gonna be kind of like at a 3 o'clock position, so you can flick this octave key. You're gonna have your thumb on the octave key. You're gonna have your first finger down, second finger down, third finger down. And the left hand, and the right hand, you're gonna have your thumb underneath the rest, as you should have been having it. And then you're gonna have your pointer finger down, your second finger, and your third finger for D. So it should have those 3 down, those 3 pearls down there, and then up here, those 3 pearls with the back thumb key on your left hand. Should sound like. And those are the notes.